How many home improvement projects come in under budget? I'm sure it happens from time to time, but not in my household. I'm Angela Chase Triplet. I am a former radio host turned realtor and home renovation enthusiast, currently living through a kitchen renovation. And unfortunately, we have hit a snag and are now over budget. And of course, the conundrum happened to be in the most expensive possible part of the kitchen, and that is the stone, the slab, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just going to back things up a little bit and say that whenever we first started talking about this renovation, I was really in it for the new cabinets. I thought we could just use the same quartz that we already had and then buy a little bit more since it's a man-made material and we could get it to match. My husband and my father-in-law were a little bit more realistic and said, yeah, as soon as you start taking that apart, it's probably going to crack. We're also going to change the size of some of the cabinets. The footprint isn't going to be exactly the same. So if you're thinking that's what you're going to do, it's certainly a possibility. Our island did crack whenever we started pulling it away from our sink, but we still do have portions of it, and there are portions of our other counters that did not crack. So I would say if you intend to reuse your stone, go ahead and do it. I mean, it's great for sustainability. It's also great on your pocketbook, but also just be prepared for the fact that you may not be able to make that happen and that you are going to have to come out of pocket for the stone, the slab, whatever type of countertop that you want. So with us, once I was told that I needed to just go ahead and choose new countertops, I started doing my research, chose quartzite because it is so durable and heat resistant and also just incredibly beautiful. Decided I wanted something with a bluish tint, got online, did some research, and then started visiting stone yards. Actually, the first place I visited was a stone gallery where they mount the slabs onto the walls. And I'm telling you, if you've never been, it's nature's art. It looks like a canvas mounted on the wall. I mean, you could just go there instead of a museum. It's absolutely stunning. And what's really cool is if you spill something on it, nobody's gonna get mad. They're countertops. You can just wipe it off. Anyway, we started looking. The amazing thing was that Andrew and I both fell in love with the same type of slab. So it was really easy. There wasn't any negotiation, any kind of going back and forth about what type of stone we were gonna get. We made up our minds. We purchased the stone, and this was in February. Right now we're in June, so that's good. It also got us a little bit of ahead on our budget because we already had one major component. Now, my thought on this was that we would probably do quartz on the outer edge countertops. We have an island, and then we have countertops here, and then countertops on the opposite wall. And something in a contrasting color. Really like the way that looks, and my husband likes the way it looks, and that was gonna be that. Except that when we were at the stone yard, we saw a different piece of quartzite, fell in love with it, purchased it. The good news is that it was several months later, so again, we're sort of budgeting out our kitchen renovation over time, which is extremely helpful. We go to the stone fabricator, get everything figured out, how we want it cut out, and decided that we have enough stone left to where we can do a stone backsplash, which is what you're seeing right behind me. It's absolutely stunning. I am totally in love with it, and I will say whenever they were bringing in the countertops, I was a little bit disappointed. I thought, I know that stone had more pizzazz whenever I saw it, because this part you can see, I'll just tilt this up this way, it's a little on the plain side, but then you've got just this one remarkable, highly veined piece. And once they slid that in, it was over. It was heaven. I was in love. And I thought, what are we gonna do for the backsplash on the other side of the wall? Because we thought, oh, well, we'll just do like a nice simple subway tile behind the stove. Once we saw this, we knew that couldn't happen. Not to mention, we do have a lot of textures going on. There's this, we've got the brick here. There's also the island slab, which you can see here. It's very colorful, very different. And then we also have this third wall with the stove. It also has a brick chimney because I don't know if you remember from the last video, I said our house was a duplex. So basically it was symmetrical. We had two kitchens that were combined into one. Anyway, the idea of using a simple, say, subway tile backsplash just really seemed disappointing after we saw this. Not to say anything negative about subway tile. I think it's beautiful. I have it in my bathroom. I'm very happy with it. And being in a house built in 1931, it does blend right in. But once you have all of this, all these different textures going on, it does seem a bit chaotic to add something else. So we thought about it and realized that there was still quite a bit of slab left over from our island, and an absolutely gorgeous piece that looked a little bit different from the piece that we used on the island. And it does have some of the same gray-blue colors that are trickling through as this stone. And we thought, you know what, we'll just cut that and we'll put that on the back and it's gonna look incredible. And the stone fabricator was skeptical and we were confident-ish, and we had them cut it and we had them bring it out and they tilted it up, and the fabricator looked at me and said, "Are you sure you want to glue it on?" And my husband said, "Yeah, we want to do it." And I looked at it and I felt a bit like my senses were being assaulted. So they lightly glued it onto the wall and then they left, and then I sat across from it looking at it and felt a little angry. I mean, it's an emotional piece. It's very masculine. It has a lot of energy. It's very dark. And I thought, am I going to be angry every time I look at this? And so we decided, you know what, we're going to not make a decision. We're going to leave. We're also both panicking about the thought of, if this doesn't work, then we have to buy a whole nother slab. And we decided to go to dinner, come back, and take a look at it. So we did that. And then we get home and we walk in the door and it was just like, ah! It just completely distracts you from the rest of the kitchen, and not in a good way. So ultimately we decided that, yeah, we're gonna have to go ahead and get a third slab. Third. The thing is with stone, it comes in bundles, and you can get a stone. This is called Sirius quartzite. You can get Sirius quartzite, but if it comes from a different bundle, it might be a different color. And since our countertops on that side came from this bundle, we had to make sure that it all came from the same source. And I will say that whenever we went to the stone yard to go get our our third slab, they did show us Sirius from another bundle. They pulled it out and I looked at it and I was like, no, that's totally wrong. It's too light. It looked white. So we got the very last piece of the Sirius quartz that came from this bundle. Hallelujah, everything's going to match. We are definitely spending some major cash doing that. But at the end of the day, we don't plan to leave our house for years, if ever. We love what we have going on. We knew we would regret not getting that years later when everything was fine, or even months later when everything's fine. And sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and spend that extra money so that you get it right. In my next video, I want to talk about the aspects of the kitchen that we have tried to maintain the integrity of the house, that 1930s look, and which areas we've decided to modernize. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you liked it, please click that and also subscribe to my channel.